All right, so in the most interesting moment of my speech, my phone informed me that Victoria, bro, you don't have enough memory on your phone, so I had to delete some old videos and restart. Not to restart, to continue what I was talking about. So, if I'm not wrong, I was talking about how transformation in relationships with people, especially with parents and older generations, come through pain. And don't take me wrong, I really love my parents and I have very good parents, and I really love our older generations. But there is a moment when you have to rebuild relationships with them just because you're not a child anymore, and sometimes people don't understand that. So I guess there is no way to achieve this understanding and starting feeling confident unless you really start talking about it, because nobody knows what you feel if you don't talk about it. I mean, I know what other people feel sometimes. We all have this vibe from other people. But when it comes to serious transformations in life, you will really have to talk about things that make you happy in life, and you have to know it. You have to know what your life is about. So first of all, I guess when you understand there is a time for action and starting to talk about your new adult personality, you have to understand that this is a process, and change is a slow process. It takes time. You will definitely need a lot of patience and love. Of course, you need love for people. You need to understand it's hard for them to see you not as a baby, not as a child, but as an adult man or a woman. Um, Partially, you will always be a baby for your parents, but you can be a baby only partially. If that's just the way they look at you, I'm not sure that's a way to go. And yes, I did say this transformation always comes through pain, not necessarily a physical pain, but when there are situations that you do not appreciate and you don't like, and you feel like it kind of shows some kind of um, extreme familiarity, or people treat you too much like a child when you're already an adult. And it happens all the time when there is a transition between 25-30. A lot of people go through this. Not a lot of people approach this, I would say, professionally, scientifically, with love, with understanding that yes, this is a time of transformation and you will need to accept certain things, but people around you also will need to learn some new rules of you, rules that you create to live your life as a free person with your own opinion and with your own dreams and desires. Um, so definitely, if there are certain things that you feel you are manipulated with, certain techniques or certain moments when your parents or somebody says things that make you feel uncomfortable, especially in public. This is a very common issue, bringing up some really strange stories from childhood, and not necessarily in a circle of close friends and relatives, but more in a public situation or with a even professional situation. That's something that definitely needs to be discussed and stopped. And there is no need to pretend that you're okay with it. The more you're not gonna be okay with it, the more you have a chance to succeed and establish these new rules. Because I'm not talking about taking all the warmth and all the love from relationships, but when you are 30, your parents can treat you the way they treated you when you were 12. That's something that definitely needs to be understood. So there is no need to avoid confrontation and honest conversations. I'm not talking about being aggressive. No, you definitely need to respect your parents and friends and whoever you're feeling in the situation of not understanding your new personality. But definitely there is no need to become an avoidant person. Avoidant personality, when you constantly uh, push your feelings inside more and more and more and more, and you don't express them, you don't tell people things that don't make you feel happy, just because you're scared to look as an aggressive or emotional personality. But my feelings that in general, if there is no crazy screaming or anything, but you just show your emotions and your vulnerable part and your pain that people cause, I guess if you do it systematically and if you do it confidently, I think confidence is a very important thing. Eventually, you will see changes in relationships and in communication with people. I hope my phone not gonna turn off, because first I had not enough memory on my phone. Now it's I think it needs to be charged, but I always forget my charger. So if my video is going to consist of 25 pieces, then I'm sorry. That's what it is. Sorry. So don't avoid confrontation in a civilized form. So I'm mostly talking about honesty and addressing things that you don't like. Stay calm but confident. This is, I think, the absolutely amazing skill of staying calm, but still telling the truth about what you feel. I have a feeling that this state of mind truly communicates to other people that you are not a child anymore. You have this confidence, strength, and you're calm. You believe in the things that you're saying. I think it's very important to believe in the things you say to other people and express those feelings honestly. I understand that we might have different relationships with different people. Not everybody is open to understanding, but I do believe that it's worth trying, showing your pain and misunderstandings and things that are dysfunctional in communication with other people. Humor, I think what helps me. I make jokes about things that I don't like. So I guess it's more of a smart way to talk about things, but not talking about those things directly. But not everybody has the best sense of humor in the world. I guess it's just a gift that's given to some of us. And it's a way to go. Another bullet point, another thing, it's just an amazing thing that I started doing. And a lot of my friends also practice this. It's called Become Your Own Mother and Father. This is really interesting. That's more of a state of mind when you look at yourself as a mother or a father and how you would behave in a particular situation, and you kind of compare this behavior with the behavior of another person to understand things that you would do, things that you would never do. I guess it's always good to memorize these points in certain mistakes you wouldn't like to make in relationships with people and with your own kids. But it's also brings you a huge amount of confidence, especially in a situation when you are not finding understanding with parents very quickly. They do not understand your transition from a teenager to an adult. So I would say that just feeling that you are the one who is able to be a mother or the one who is able to be a father to yourself or to somebody else, this is just an amazing feeling, and it makes you a truly strong adult person. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a parent. I understand some of us maybe are not just interested in that, but just feeling that you have this ability and strength in yourself, that you have this nurturing motherly and fatherly side, protector and nurturer. I think this is very important to know, and just accept it in yourself. I guess it's a part of also rebuilding relationship with parents when you're able to revise and see clearly things that they've done. You definitely have to be appreciated, but it's also good to stay critical and know, yes, there are things that I would never do to my kids, and I know what kind of parent I will be, what kind of mother I will be, what kind of father I will be. And when you have this support system within yourself, when you feel like I'm my own father and my own mother, and I'm able to support myself even in situations when nobody understands me, it happens. This is a huge source of energy. Other aspect, I would say yes, there is definitely a financial aspect to it, and you truly become an adult when what you do for work, for a job, or whatever you do in life, when you're able to feed yourself, when you're able to provide a roof over your head, when you're able to become a breadwinner, and when you're just becoming somebody who's not gonna let yourself die, when you're able to take care of yourself financially, emotionally, professionally. I guess this is an area of development which is incredibly important in a certain age. But I think it's also important to have a balance, because I know a lot of people go into this competition so deep that they start losing themselves again. But at this point, instead of losing themselves to parents and to parents' vision, the way they used to see you before you became an adult, you start losing yourself in this system where you do need the money or financial support provided by your workplace, but it's also good to have a good amount of yourself and your personal values expressed in your work, because after all, I think this is why we came into this world, to bring our skills, to bring our dreams, to bring our values and share them with other people. It's just impossible to imagine that somebody can just go to work, get a paycheck, a large paycheck and small paycheck, whatever it is, and feel happy. Job is, in my opinion, supposed to be a continuation of your personality. If you're a nurturing, kind, caring, emotional person like me, then for me personally, the best idea is psychology, social work, somewhere where I can help people, I can talk, I can analyze, I can give my shoulder, because I have this brotherly side in me. I have this, let's say, feminine aspects in my personality. I also have masculine aspects in my personality. I know I'm a woman that can support, and I know I'm a woman that can lead sometimes, and lead other people, help other people, inspire other people. So that's, I guess, a very important part, to have a balance of financial success and self-expression. And it also helps you to manifest your new adult strong personality, because when you are a part of the job or a part of a career that you're doing, you're in the center of it, you're truly connected to it, all your values, all your expectations. It gives you a lot of strength, it gives you a lot of inspiration. So another aspect is confidence. It doesn't mean that you have to feel like you never make mistakes. But if you make mistakes, accept them, analyze, improve, but don't allow that to kill your confidence and your ability to move forward. Because after all, nobody knows what kind of life we're supposed to have. We choose it, we choose our life, we choose our destiny ourselves. And it's just like, to bring an example, somebody decided to marry a very rich person, and person felt, oh, my life is great, and all of a sudden that rich person loses everything, and that person who made this choice becomes an alcoholic, doesn't know how to develop, doesn't know how to work, because he or she always felt like, oh, this person will take care of me, and all of a sudden it all falls apart. I have this specific example in my family when person made this financially empowering choice, and it destroyed life, because you never know what happens in life. You can just make a choice and feel like it's all gonna be 100% great. You never know. Everybody can persuade you it's gonna be great, it's all gonna be good, just do it, go ahead. But you have to make this choice yourself, and you have to understand that every choice has a potential risk. Maybe it's gonna work, maybe it's not gonna work, but you need to believe in yourself. Or, for example, another person maybe got married or dated a person that's not necessarily was financially the richest, but person had a talent, person had a kind heart, good values, person was loyal, had a dream, had a lot of inspiration, person was able to give real love. And eventually those two people, for example, became very successful, happy, they achieved what they wanted, they always supported each other, even though originally maybe nobody believed in that choice. And maybe somebody was saying to this woman or to that man, oh, look, this person just has too many romantic dreams and this and that. I'm not sure it's gonna go anywhere. And after all, I've seen this kind of situations too. So don't make assumptions ahead of time. Make your choices confidently, but always accept the fact that it might work, but it also might be a situation that it's not gonna work perfectly. This is why you need to be a strong, confident person and a professional and an adult person to be able to accept all your life experiences, good ones, bad ones, not to feel defeated, not to feel destroyed in certain situations. This is what it's all about, taking responsibility for your life unapologetically, without feeling like, oh, I could have done this choice, we always could have done something different. You could be born a girl instead of a boy, you could be born a boy instead of a girl, you could be born in a different country, in different culture, in a different religion, like who knows what. If we're gonna sit and analyze all of these possibilities, I guess we have what we have. We have to accept our personalities, our parents, and just build space of comfort, because life is supposed to be interesting, life is supposed to be beautiful, life is supposed to be full of understanding between people, or at least the attempt to create this understanding between people. Another thing that very often parents and those close to you have a tendency to be too involved in your personal life, and in a certain age, of course, it becomes an issue, and for men and for women and for everybody else. Also, I would say that it's very important to find confidence and honesty to say what you really want in this life, because somebody wants to be married and have kids and have it all conservative and go to church on Sunday. Somebody wants to have kids and to have a boyfriend, but not necessarily to be married. I've seen a lot of that too. This is a very popular model of family nowadays. People are not crazy about being married. I'm not crazy either. For me, the most important to be there with the person that I love, and to be partners, to be people who develop together and people who understand each other. I never measured people by what they make, what kind of house they have, what kind of car they have, but I need to know that the person that I'm with have this impulse to move forward and develop. The person has certain dreams. This is what I consider a real capital, because if you have this dream inside of you and desire to develop, this is a good thing to start with. This is something you can build upon. Maybe some people want to adopt kids, because I was also thinking about kids adoption many years ago. Not many years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And they just want to raise these kids and see how it goes, and not to invest it into looking for a partner to live with. That's a possibility too. We have a lot of wonderful single parents in society. I don't even know why this word single parents exist. I don't know what means single, because in my opinion, if you raise a child, you are a king size or a queen size, but you're not single. I am not sure why we use such a humiliating terminology for people who do amazing things, because I think it's so much happiness to educate and raise kids, and the single, it just has this connotation of poverty or depression or whatever, and I don't think all of these people are that sad and depressed. They're probably really happy that they have these kids. So yes, that's one of the aspects that also make you an adult person, to have at least approximate or some kind of explanation, not an explanation, or just understanding what your ideal personal life is, because if you just don't feel like you want to date anybody at all and you like being on your own, then that's something that you have to explain your parents, and so they don't bug you till the end of life, like, when we're gonna become grandparents. Maybe they just never gonna become grandparents, and you have a right for that. And so these are aspects that I, in my opinion, really shaped my new relationships with my mom, our new understanding and vision of each other, and I do hope that it's gonna help you. So my main wish for you, just stay kind, stay understanding, try to understand it's hard for them too, to see you this new adult huge person instead of a baby they used to see, but they also have to start understanding you, because questions of relationships, social status, friendship, professional growth, development, we have it in all areas of life. Just when we go to workplace, we have a manual telling us exactly how we have to develop as professionals. And in our relationship with parents, sometimes we do not have any manual, so we pretty much have to create it with our own hands, and we have to use it. Of course, there is no reason to become paranoid about it, because relationships with parents are always very fluid, and there is a lot of flexibility and change. But I do think that it's important to address certain negative influences and disrespect or whatever you might see on time, because sometimes people do it just because they don't know how to behave differently and how to look at you, right? So it's good if you kind of set up a right focus and tell them how to communicate with you better. This is kind of how you build boundaries with your parents and closed ones when you become an adult person. So yeah, kind of just sitting in my car and changing generation. No, I'm not trying to change generation. I'm just feeling that I have a lot of life experience, and I'm sure there are people that might benefit from my advice. At least a lot of my friends and people I know, they ask me for my advice. They suggest and they always ask me to continue developing as a psychologist, continue developing as a hypnotherapist. They see a certain potential in me, and I do too. And right now, mostly on a personal level, I share with you experience of my life and my relationships with people. And if you want to share something with me, let me know. You can also message me on Facebook. I think I have my Facebook on the description of this channel. So it's Victoria James. My page is called Ivana Winter Psychology and Hypnotherapy. And I think I'll make a Russian version of this video a little later because I'm really tired. Bye, guys.